Howdy folks, thank you for tuning in. As always, if it's the first time watching our channel or you're a regular viewer, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So today you're not seeing double after seeing a recent video where I had a look at the Celestron Regal ED flat field 8x42 binoculars. Today we're having a look at the 10x42 version, and as per most of our videos, if you want to support our channel, and I know a number of you do, you can purchase from us in the link in the description below. Or if you want to pop along to our optics weekends, just give us a call to make sure I've got one in stock and try them out for yourself. So, don't really see many 10x42 binocular reviews when it comes to the yearly awards, etc. And most people go for the 8x42s. Now I'll chat about that a bit later on, and so rather than do a repeat of the previous video I did on the 8x42, rather than look again at the accessories and talk about the handling, what I'll do is I'll put a link at the end of this video where it takes you to the 8x42 version of the Regals, and you'll be able to have a look at the case and where I'll chat a bit more about the handling and the weight, etc. So as per the 8x42, you get twist eye cups. With these, despite being 10x42, you still get 20mm eye relief. I found the setting for me to be correct at about half distance twist inwards or outwards. Focus nice and smooth, as per the 8x. There's no backlash, no tight spots. Excellent. On the subject of which, just like the 8x42, the 1.5 meters close focus on these is absolutely superb. The clarity you get looking at objects is incredible, and it's, as per the 8x42, it's one of, if not the best close focus binoculars I've ever had the pleasure of using. There's virtually no eye strain at all when you look at things close up. So these are flat field binoculars. They do have a built-in field flattener into each housing here, and what that does is it reduces, well, it doesn't reduce, it completely eliminates pincushion distortion. You get nice flat edges to the edge, right to the edge, and there is very, very little chromatic aberration. You'll only really notice it on very, very high contrast subjects or very heavily backlit subjects, and then it will be so minimal you'll hardly notice it. So big tick with the false colour or chromatic aberration reduction. Another thing you get with flat field technology is not just the lack of distortion towards the edges, it's the clarity and sharpness of the image. There is hardly any fall off at all in image quality and focus as you get right near the edge. Maybe just a little bit, like the outer, like 3 to 5%, but again, just like the chromatic aberration, you'll hardly notice it. These really do give an amazing edge to edge sharpness and to the image, with excellent contrast and colours. I did actually just test these in low light conditions, and very, very impressive, despite them having a slightly smaller exit pupil than the 8x. And so what we'll talk about now is with a lot of the bigger reviewers and that, the end of year awards for binoculars, etc., and I will admit on my channel I tend to talk about more 8x42 than 10x42. Well, why is that? Why are 8x42 more popular? Well, one of the answers that I get a lot at our optics weekends is people will come and look through the 8x and the 10x, and or maybe a 7x and a 10x, and I'll get, especially with somebody starting out, get the same sort of answers every time. And somebody starting out, they'll say, oh, I prefer the wider field of view with the 8x because it's easy to find things, it's easier to focus because they have that larger depth of field, and also the benefit of the larger exit pupil, which gives you better low light performance, although the low light performance with these is quite amazing really. What you'll find is more experienced users go for 10 times 42 or 10 times 32, 10 times 25, etc. because they find tracking of objects much more they've got much more used to it, and so they are able to handle that slightly narrower field of view, and having to adjust the focus a little bit more. They're quite used to that, and that's not a problem for experienced users, and that's why I find that most people starting out go for 8 times rather than 10, and also people will mention that the 8 times you get less handshake. They are very much easier to hand hold. But also what some people do is I've known people buy one of each. There will be different occasions when you need a different magnification. For example, anybody that knows where I live in North Lincolnshire, as soon as I mention Aldeburgh Flats, you'll be thinking, yeah, I need a bit of extra magnification for that. So that's when you'll be looking for your 10 or 12 times binoculars. And or if you're at the local Far Rings Reserve and looking at the kingfisher, if you're lucky enough, because it generally pops up like what 20 yards away from the bird hide, then yes, the 8 times will be ideal for that. But also, I've mentioned it before, with 10 times magnification binoculars, you get that slightly narrower field of view, which actually can be an advantage, because you're looking at the subject itself. And so going back to the kingfisher, maybe you just want to look at the kingfisher, but you're not interested in anything else. You want to have that almost intimate experience looking at this, whatever you're looking at, whether what type of wildlife, whether it's a kingfisher or the local bittern, and you don't want to look at anything else. You just want to look at that object. And also the shallower depth of field can give you that extra sort of almost three-dimensional feel to it, because it throws the background out of focus much more, and so again the subject, it stands out more against the background. So with practice, 10 times 42 binoculars can give some amazing results. Yes, they don't give that wider field of view. I believe with these it's 114 metres at 1000. With the 8 times you get 140 metres at 1000, or 6.5 degrees against 8 degrees. So if wide field of view is the most important thing to you, then by all means the lower magnification. But easiest way to find out which is best for you, to pop along to our optics weekends, try one of each. And the good thing about the Celestron Regals is there's no price difference between the 8 and 10. They're both the same, and I think it's the same with their trail seekers as well, whereas some brands will maybe add 10 or 20 or even £30 if you want to go from 8 to 10 times. So anyway, as per usual, anybody that speaks to me over the phone will know I do tend to natter on a bit and get carried away, and I have done that again today. So yeah, that's a quick look at the Celestron Regal ED flat field binoculars 10 times 42 version, and also a quick chat on my opinions about which you should go for, the 8 or the 10 times. Both have their own advantages and disadvantages, and I hope this video helps. So thank you very much for watching, and please check out the link in the description below.